You know, it's been a long time since we've done any videos on RM1214. And if you watched the last video about this bus, you may recall we got her through an MOT, we finished the internal restoration, and we got her carrying passengers again. Well, since that video, all those months ago, she's been a really busy bus. She's done loads of private hire work and weddings. She's also appeared in a Christmas TV advert, and she made an appearance in London on the 159 anniversary run. Now, I think it's about time we gave this bus a little bit more TLC. The inside still looks great, the outside looks fine, but the one area of the bus that needs some urgent attention is the driver's cab. It's been years since that cab saw a paintbrush, so we're going to put that right in this video today. Right, before we get underway, let me just show you what I mean when I say the inside of this cab hasn't seen a paintbrush for years. Just look at the state of it. As you can see, it's been a long time since any work was done in here. In fact, I would argue nothing's been done in this cab since her last overhaul at Aldenham way back in 1984. Well, we're about to put that right, and who better to do the job than our very own painter extraordinaire, Mr. Alan Jones.
Okay, so here we are. It's day one of the repaint of the cab of RM1214, and before we start prepping this bus, we've got a little bit of work to do. We've got to strip the cab out, so we've got a bit more room to work with. This involves taking the driver's seat out, the side emergency window, the steering wheel, the cab door. We're also going to take this window out, as there's a massive gap in the window rubber at the top, so that's going to receive attention as well. There's a lot of work to be done here before we start prepping, so let's get on with the strip out.
You got it? Yeah, I got it. Oh.
You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready? Right, if you can just keep hold of it for as long as you can.
Yep.
You got it?
Yep. Yeah, original panel, fuses. Right. Do you want me to hold it or?
Try it.
Yep. Smoking. Right. One steering wheel. How the fuck are we going to get this out?
Right.
You got it?
Not yet. Right, bring it down there.
You alright there, yeah?
Last thing out. Now there's plenty of room for Big Al to do the painting.
Okay, now that everything that can be stripped out of the cab has been, it's time to get on with the job I absolutely detest, which is the prep and the sanding. It's noisy, it's dirty, but it's got to be done. Let's get on with it. Whew. Well, I think that's the sanding of the ceiling done. Thank God. Now it's time to move on to the window pans and the dashboard. Okay, so here we are. It's week 2 of the cab repaint of RM1214. And since we've started, we have done quite a lot and made a lot of progress. We've not only stripped out the cab, we've also sanded it, wire brushed it, and cleaned it. And it's now ready for some etch prime. Now this is quite a small space, especially if you're like me, a little bit on the larger side. There's plenty of opportunities to get cramp and pain in your legs and hips. But there you go, that's part of the course on jobs like this. It's now time to move on to the next stage, which is etch priming. And there we are. I think, looking around, that is all the etch priming done. So all those little bits of exposed bare aluminium have now been covered, apart from the floor. Now, because we're going to be climbing in and out of the cab to paint the top coat, we're going to leave that till last. So that will be cleaned, etch primed and top coated last. But apart from that, it will look a lot tidier by the end of this week, trust me, even though it looks a mess at the moment. So let's get a bit of top coat on it. So that's the second coat of black undercoat applied to everywhere in the cab. Now originally these buses were painted in black undercoat, so there's no reason to put a top coat on them. Now all the parts of the cab that are brown, i.e. the floor, the firewall, the steering column, have to be undercoated first, but not with black, with salmon pink, believe it or not. So that's the next step, to mask everywhere up for salmon pink, and then we can apply that lovely Aldenham chocolate brown.
Right, while that larger-than-life man mountain is painting the inside of the cab, it's my job to prep some of the panels that we took out of the cab last week. Now, I did make a start on the Westinghouse cover, and I put this inside the sandblaster. Got halfway through the job, and the sandblaster packed up. So the rest of these are all going to have to be done the old-fashioned way, by hand. Okay, I think that's about it with the sander. There's one or two little tricky bits I've got to get to by hand, but apart from that, I think these are just about ready for paint.
So we're making some real progress now on the cab. Both the firewall and the steering column have had 2 coats of chocolate brown. I'm currently etch priming the floor, which needs undercoat and 2 coats of chocolate brown also. And then thankfully, we could start putting this cab back together.
Okay, so while Alan is doing the final finishing touches on the inside of the cab, it's my job to sort out the cab door. Now, as you can see, he's painted it lovely, but my job today is to sort out the rubbers. There's 2 different types of rubber that run along the vertical sides of the door. On this side here, we've got the circular rubber. This just attaches itself to the door and then sits in a channel on the body of the bus. That helps keep the door closed. And on this side here is just a flat piece of rubber that's held on with a strip. Now this is a very important piece of rubber because this is a draft excluder, and I think it's very important to have a nice warm cab in the winter months. All our buses are fitted with really good heaters, but of course those heaters would be absolutely useless if there was lots of drafts coming into the bus. Now you've already seen that window that we replaced in the driver's cab had a massive gap at the top of the rubber, so that's been replaced. And I'm also going to replace this rubber down here to help keep the drafts out of the cab. We use our buses a lot in winter, and as I said, you've got to have a nice warm cab because it's a miserable job if you're driving a bus in the middle of winter and you're freezing cold. So both these rubbers are going to be replaced before this door goes back on the bus.
Okay, so the cab shell is now complete. All the floor's been painted. It's had undercoat and 2 coats of top coat, and we're just painting the last of the items to go into the cab now. This is the driver's emergency window which sits over the bonnet. The cab door has already had 2 coats of matte black. I'm just applying the second coat of matte black to this, and then they're ready to be fitted, and then the cab will be completed.
It's got to go in the slot at the bottom here.
Yeah. Should have got the bar.
The what?
Should have got the bar, the extendable bar.
Oh. Right, try that. Don't scratch the paintwork. I'm happy with that, are you?
Yep. Does it look straight from the outside?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice one.
Are the rubbers sealing up nice on the side, the new rubbers?
Yeah. Okay, so the cab door is back in. So that's this cab virtually finished. Now I say virtually finished because we're still waiting for one more item, and that's the transfers. The transfers that show the weight of the vehicle, the height, and the fleet number, etc. They're in the course of being delivered to us from our supplier. They won't be here for another week or so. So when they arrive, we'll get them in. As you saw earlier in the video, the glazer came and has refitted the window with the brand new rubber, so we haven't got that horrible gap at the top of the window now. So virtually, that's this cab done. All the painting's been done, everything's been refitted, and we're well happy with the result. So thanks very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. The outtakes are on the way next, but until next time, from me and the team, bye-bye. Okay, so I am the member of the team who's been chosen to repaint the cab, and the first step is to remove the fixtures and fittings. The cab seat, no, not the fucking cab seat. the driver's seat. Surprise, surprise, they've chosen the biggest member of the team to get into the smallest space. Now time to remove the steering wheel. Now it's time to remove the steering wheel.
Okay, so while little Alan is busy working in the cab, no, that doesn't sound right, does it?
No. Well, after many hours playing with Jess and Peggy,
Right, one of the last jobs we're going to do on this cab repaint. Oh, for fuck's sake! The bloody phone hasn't rung all sodding day. We're supposed to go to lunch at 12. It's now 1:30. If when we get to Greg's they've run out of chicken bakes, I will not be happy.
as you saw earlier in the video, the glazer came oh, for fuck's sake. The glazer came yesterday to put the window back in with all the new rubber. So the big gap that we originally had in this window, at the top of the window, we hope you've enjoyed watching this story of how we've repainted this car.
This car? Start again.
Start again. Oh,
see, you're trying to say too much. Just be brief.
Okay.
Not in his briefs.
Yeah.
No, they're not exactly brief, are they?
So thanks very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our subscriptions.
We're going to have outtakes with a hint of cab painting, aren't we?
We're going to have outtakes of outtakes at this rate. If you've liked the video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. The outtakes are on the way next, and so until the next video, from me and the team, thanks for watching. That was shit.
What Alan is trying to say is if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. The outtakes, of which there are many, are on the way next. And until next time, from me, Alan, and the rest of the team, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
I second what he said. That's what I was trying to say. So thanks very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. The outtakes are on the way next, but until next time, from me and the team, bye-bye.
Let's go and see if Greg's is still open.